Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to do another book haul revisit for you guys. This is something I've been doing on my channel for quite a while, and I'm gonna keep doing it because I think it's a great way for me to hold myself accountable. But I basically do is I look at a book haul from 2 years ago, and I look at all the books and I see which of them I have read and which one I have not read. And then at the end, if I have a pile of unread books, I pick one of them to read in my next month's TBR. If I do not have any books that haven't been read, which has happened once, I just pick another book from a different book haul revisit that I've done because I sort of keep those segregated on my bookshelves. So I would just pick one of those. And yeah, it's just a great way for me to sort of keep track of what I'm reading, what I'm hauling, how long they've been here, and that sort of thing. So for this video, I am looking at a book haul from January 2022. So let's see what I bought and whether I've read the books or not. Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here with a bookish haul because over Christmas, I got some gifts that some were books, but some were just sort of bookish items that I wanted to share in addition to the books that I got. All right, so I'm just gonna fast forward to the books because that's all we care about for this video. All right, so now getting into the books that I got for Christmas. The first couple were gifts. The first two were from my husband. So he did very well this year. The first one he got me was The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook. And this one just came out in the fall of 2021. And it's about a family where there's a mom and a couple of daughters, and they move to, I believe, Scotland. I can't remember the reason why. Oh, the mom is there to paint a mural near this really old lighthouse. And two of the girls go missing. And so the thing about this lighthouse, it's very old and is rumored to have witches around it. And there's also a part of the story that takes place present day. So this the disappearances of the daughters happened, I want to say 20, 30 years in the past. And then in present day, one of the daughters turns up again, except she's the same age that she was when she went missing. And there's kind of speculation, like, is she really the daughter? Or is she, what do they call it? Or is she I don't see the name, what they call it. A wildling, there you go. Which is like kind of a mythical, magical creature that looks like a child, but it's not. Okay, so I did read The Lighthouse Witches. I can't remember when. But I did read it, and I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. I don't remember my reasoning for it exactly. It's actually, now looking back, it seems like it was maybe a little bit forgettable, so I think the 3-star rating was appropriate because I don't really remember much about it, but I did read it, so that is 1 for the red pile. The other book that my husband got me for Christmas is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And this is one that I have seen a lot recently, so I'm super excited that he got me this one. And this is about 2 men, who are there? Ike and Buddy, who their 2 sons are murdered, and their 2 sons were married. And I don't know if there was like relationship issues between them, between the dads and their sons, but their sons are both murdered, and the 2 dads kind of team up or get together to exact revenge for their sons. So, okay, I did read Razorblade Tears. I feel like I read it in 2022 because I read it for the Literally Dead book club. It was a pick, and I ended up giving that one 3 stars as well. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I liked the story. And I've actually just talked about S.A. Cosby's newest book, All the Sinners Bleed, because I just read it in December. And I sort of mentioned Razorblade Tears when I was reviewing All the Sinners Bleed, so I'll mention it again here, though, that my kind of only issue with Razorblade Tears was there were times when the male characters, would like do or say things that to me just came across as very like macho, sort of cheesy. And I don't know if it was meant to be seen that way. but it was just something I noticed because it was something that I also noticed in All the Sinners Bleed. So it's not something that will make me not want to read an S.A. Cosby book, but it's just something that I think he does with his male characters, just to kind of show how badass they are. And it's just something that I noticed that makes me sort of chuckle and maybe cringe a little bit. So otherwise, though, I thought it was a good book. I liked it. I think it had a lot of, it felt like a movie. I'm actually surprised it hasn't been adapted. If it hasn't been picked up for an adaptation, I'm surprised, because it would make a good movie. So yeah, that's another one for the red pile. And then the next two books that I got were from Austin's grandma, or just grandma. She's like my grandma too, you know? The first one she got me I thought was so cute because the cover looks exactly like our dog Morgan. And this is Chicken Soup for the Soul, Life Lessons from the Dog, 101 Tales of Family, Friendship, and Fun. And if you look at this picture, that is Morgan. You put a pair of black rimmed glasses on Morgan and that's her. So I thought this was cute. I haven't read a Chicken Soup book in a really long time. I had like the Teenage Soul one back in the day when I was a teen and loved it. I reread it and everything. And so I think this will be really cute. You know, being a dog lover, I don't see why I wouldn't enjoy this. So it makes me sad because we lost Grandma in August to cancer. So it makes me sad. I miss her. So I did read the Chicken Soup for the Dog Lover's Soul. Is that what it was called? Anyways, I did read it. It was cute. Very light, sort of easy reading. Especially, it's enjoyable, especially for people that love dogs. I mean, if you don't love dogs, why are you reading that book? So I think I ended up giving it like a 3 or 3.5 star because, you know, it was fine. And I don't know. It was a cute book. I liked it. 3 stars. The other book that Grandma got me for Christmas is The Overstory by Richard Powers. And this is like, it's such a hefty book. Even though it's a paperback, it's one of those that just feels very heavy. Oh, and she also got me this cute magnetic, I don't know if it's gonna show you, this cute little magnetic bookmark. It's a little tree. But anyways, she got me this book because she read this book and it was one of her favorite books that she read this year. And I don't really know what it's about other than it won the Pulitzer Prize, right? From what I gather from reading the back, it sounds like it's a bunch of interlocking stories that all have to do with each other. So you meet a lot of different characters and you're in a lot of different places, a lot of different time periods, and they somehow all interlock together is all I think is what it is. So I have not read The Overstory. I had wanted to read it somewhere towards the end of 2023 once she passed away, because I was like, she got me this book and I never read it and I want to read it, but I never did. So I obviously I think for more of a sentimental reason, I definitely still want to read the book, even though it sounds like it might be a little bit challenging. And I remember her telling me that she loves this author a lot, or loved this author a lot, but he was sort of dense. Like the writing was sort of dense and very literary. So it would be a challenge, but I definitely still want to read it. So that is the first one on the unread pile. So then, like I mentioned, I did go to Barnes & Noble after Christmas to take advantage of the 50% off hardcover sale that they had going on, where every hardcover in the store was half off. I waited until the 3rd day, but I still found some good books. So the first one is actually one that I just recently mentioned in a video because it is now a 5-star prediction for me, and that is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. And this one came out about this time last year, I think, so it's fairly new, and it is about 2 slaves living on a plantation in, I think it just says the Deep South, you know, during that time period. It's about 2 men who are enslaved on a plantation and they fall in love. And this other slave comes to the plantation to stay and starts to really preach the gospel to everyone else. And one of the things that he is preaching is how evil and sinful homosexuality is, among other things that he's preaching about. And so it kind of makes our 2 main characters, who up until that point just felt the love that they felt for each other, and it just felt right, and they didn't see how it could be wrong. And this whole preacher and all this stuff kind of just shakes their world up a bit, from what I understand. So, okay, so the Prophets. I DNF'd the Prophets. I can't remember how far I made it. I want to say it was around 100 pages. And I was just thoroughly confused, I think I remember, because there were so many other characters involved. It wasn't just centering around the two men that were in love. There were so many other characters, and I was having a hard time keeping them straight. And then I was having a hard time connecting with the writing, if I remember right. It was very literary, and I was struggling, so I DNF'd it, which is kind of a bummer because it was a 5-star prediction, but yeah, never finished that one, so that's one for the DNF pile. The next one that I got is a nonfiction book that just has piqued my interest, and I was so excited to see it at Barnes & Noble. So I had to pick it up, and it's called Turning Point, How a New Generation of Dancers is Saving Ballet from Itself by Chloe Angyal. I think I might be saying that wrong. But anyways, this is about how in the ballet world, it's no secret that most of the ballerinas we see are white and have a certain look to them. And I think it's no secret too that to be a ballet dancer, it's really tough. There's just a lot of pressures to maintain a certain appearance and look and all of that. And this book is about how we're getting into our more modern times, how that is starting to change. And it's because new dancers coming up are asking for that change, demanding that change. Okay, so I did read Turning Point. I read it, I did a whole vlog, was it a year or two ago, where I just read books that centered around ballet and dance, and that was one of the books I read, and I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was just, I wouldn't say it was necessarily eye-opening, because like I said when I was talking about the synopsis, like a lot of the stuff that they initially talk about in terms of the ballet world, you know, there's nothing surprising there. I think that's pretty common knowledge, that ballet companies tend to look for a specific type of dancer, and how that's changing. But I thought it was very interesting and well written, and I liked it. I gave it 4 stars, so yeah, that's another one for the red pile. So we're at 4 red, 1 unread, and 1 unhauled / DNF'd. And then the last one I picked up is is this considered a horror novel? I think so. One that I have heard a few people talk about, and it's just like, I feel like I just need to read it. I think it was Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library gave this 5 stars and was like blown away by this. I'm really intrigued. And it is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. And I don't know a whole lot about this other than I know it's about obviously this house in a neighborhood, and I think somebody new moves in and there's weird stuff going on at the house. I know there's a perspective from a cat in here, which sounds super fun to me because I have a cat and I know how they are, and I'm just very intrigued to hear a perspective in a book from a cat. I did read The Last House on Needless Street, and it was a 5-star read. I loved it. I listened to it on audio, and I think in terms of, I don't know, yeah, I guess you would probably call this maybe, it's kind of it's horror and thriller both. I think it's very psychological. And I thought that the psychological aspect was really cool. And I also loved the perspective of the cat. But yeah, that was definitely unique to me, and I think it definitely added something to the plot, to the storytelling. And she was an integral part of the story too. So yeah, that book was great. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad I read it. Okay, the next 2 books are ones that I picked up at my local library. I happened to pop in to pick up some books, and I always look at the ongoing Friends of the Library sale that my library has going on, and I always take a peek. And there were a couple that jumped out at me this time around. And the first one is All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. And I picked this one up. There were a couple Megan Miranda books there, but I just grabbed one because I've never read her before. But she's one of those thriller writers I have seen a lot. And people seem to enjoy her, and I kind of want to try her out. And this one deals with a woman who 10 years ago in the past, her best friend went missing. and she like left town or whatever, I'm assuming for college or something like that. And she comes back and a girl goes missing again in a similar way that her best friend went missing or something. I don't know really. I don't really know the details, but I want to try Megan Miranda. All right, I have not read All the Missing Girls, but I still want to. She is still a thriller author that I want to try. I see her books everywhere. So I definitely want to check that one out. But it is another one. It is our second one that we have added to the unread pile. And the last one I picked up from the library was one I picked up only because I saw it on, oh gosh, what is his Instagram handle? Jordy's Book Club, is that what it is? Anyways, he posted his like top 10 books of the year. And this was one in the top 10. So when I saw it, I just kind of grabbed it and was like, yep, I'm gonna read that because I really like his taste in books, and I feel like we align on a lot of things. So anyways, and this one's called We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. And it's about a cop who in the past basically went in court and testified against his best friend and his best friend for committing a crime. I'm not sure what it was that he did, but it basically sent his best friend to prison. And so he kind of carries that with him. He feels guilt about that. And then there's another storyline about a teenage girl whose mother is having problems, and somehow these two their stories kind of overlap. I don't know. So I have not read We Begin at the End, but I still want to. I still love Jordy's Instagram page and his recommendations. He reads a lot of books and has a lot of great recs, so that's definitely one I still want to check out, but it's another one for the unread pile. Okay, then this last one, I am so excited for this one, you guys. It's kind of like, I never thought this day would happen. Okay, so I have to tell a story though before we get into it. So, last year, or maybe the year before, I read the book Boy's Life by Robert McCammon, and I loved it. It was a 5-star read. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I want to read more Robert McCammon. Yes, give me all of Robert McCammon. And the next one that I wanted to read, because so many people recommended this one, was Swan Song, right? And I wanted this specific edition of Swan Song because it kind of goes with my copy of Boy's Life. I'm gonna cut myself off from telling my little story about how I got the edition I wanted of Swan Song because it's a long story and we do not need to sit through it again. Oh, hi. I forgot Morgan was in here. She was just like sleeping. She's so cute. Anyways, so yeah, Swan Song, I read it. I did. It was my big book actually that I read in 2023, and it wasn't quite as good as Boy's Life. Boy's Life was amazing, and I think it will be very, very difficult to top. But I think I gave Swan Song a 4-star rating. It was good. It was for being a sort of post-nuclear war sort of story, it was good. And I think, especially because it was written so long ago, reading it in 2023, it still had a lot of relevance. And, but yeah, like I said, it wasn't quite as good as Boy's Life. So Robert McCammon is still an author I want to read more from, but that one, I don't want to say it was disappointing because it was good. It wasn't a 5-star like I was kind of hoping it would be, but I read it. It was good. It was big, and so it was an accomplishment to finish it. All right, so I just ran downstairs to grab the 3 unread books from this haul. So I had I had 6 read books, 3 unread, and then 1 that I DNF'd and unhauled. So the 3 that I did not read or have not read yet are All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda, The Overstory by Richard Powers, and We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. So, okay. I'm struggling a little bit because All the Missing Girls is actually, this is totally off topic, and I'm gonna try to not go into a big long tangent about this, but my new planner had a area where you could write 24 books you want to read in 2024. I didn't like make a video about it or anything because I don't know, most of the books, half of them are already part of goals that I've made. So my Revisit Remix books are on there. My Stephen King books that I want to read for this year are on there. And that takes up like half of the 24. So I had 12 slots left, and I had Leia, my daughter, just randomly go to my bookshelves and pick 12 books. And this was one that she picked for my 24 and 24. And so initially I was like, oh, I should probably read this. But then I also sentimentally really feel like I should read the Overstory for sentimental reasons. That I should read it for Grandma. But in all honesty, I don't know if I have the headspace for this right now. And I know she would understand. Because as you guys know, I've started school. I'm doing a paralegal program right now. And this first semester is, I don't want to say it's difficult. It's a change. It's an adjustment. In the one class in particular, there's a lot of homework, a lot of reading. And so I'm finding that reading is hard right now. And especially reading dense things like this, because the material I'm reading for school is also very dense and just takes up a lot of my brain space and brain energy, thinking power, whatever you want to call it. So I'm finding this early on, at least for this semester, I don't know if I want to dive into anything particularly challenging for my you know, free time reading, my reading that I'm doing for fun. So as much as this hurts me, but like I said, I know Grandma would understand why I just am not quite ready to tackle the Overstory. Because I really want, when I read this book, I really want to be able to focus on it and understand why she loved it so much. And I feel like right now I can't do that. I feel like right now it might just frustrate me, and I don't want to have that sort of vibe or energy going into reading this book, because I just want it to be special, I guess. So I feel like I need to save it for a time when I just have more brain space. So I'm sorry, Grandma, I love you so much. I'm gonna read this at another time. So I think between these two, because of the whole 24 and 24, I feel like I should just read this one, because A, it's going to be, you know, one I can knock off that list, and B, it's not super heavy. Yeah, it's a thriller, but thrillers don't tend to get super dense or anything like that. I feel like it would just be entertaining overall. And so I think this might be a good fit right now with everything else that's going on with school and stuff. So I'm gonna go with All the Missing Girls and give Megan Miranda a shot and see if she is the thriller author for me. So yeah, that's my pick. All right, guys, so that is my book haul revisit from January 2022. Let me know if you have read All the Missing Girls or any other Megan Miranda and what you thought of it. Let me know if I made the right choice. Should I have picked one of these? I don't know. These two are gonna go on the bookshelf for a later date, especially this one. I will definitely be reading this one at a later date. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, you will be seeing me review this one after February, because this is going to go on my February TBR. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!